Assalamualaikum. My name is Siti Aisyah Kornisa binti Muhammad Zakaria.
I'm Siti Aina Safia binti Syed Umar Ruslan.
Hi, I am Siti Norain binti Muzaffar Shah.
Hi, my name is Wahida binti Wahid Anwar.
Hi, I'm Roda binti Zahran.
As the number of electric vehicles continue to increase, charging infrastructure has become one of the most important factors supporting EV adoption. Firstly, let's look at the background of this issue. Due to rising fuel prices and the availability of affordable EV models from Proton and Produa, more Malaysians are choosing electric vehicles. In fact, based on Figure 1, in April 2026, EV registration representing a 103.8% increase compared to the previous year. However, despite this rapid growth, Malaysia still faces a major challenge, which is the insufficient number of public charging stations. Now, let's look at EV development and current charging infrastructure. Firstly, Malaysia EV industry has grown rapidly in recent years. This growth is driven by increasing consumer demand, strong government support, and investment from international companies such as Infineon Technologies and Texas Instruments. Based on Figure 2, we can also see a significant increase in EV sales from 2021 to 2023. This shows that more Malaysians are becoming interested in switching to electric vehicles. However, the development of charging infrastructure has not kept pace with this growth. Figure 3 shows charging point nationwide remains below the government target of 10,000 charging stations. Besides that, charging stations need to be strategically located to improve accessibility and usage. There are also technical challenges, such as limited electricity grid connectivity, which slow down the expansion of charging infrastructure, especially in less developed areas.
Today, I want to share about a big problem for electric vehicles in Malaysia. The main issue is that we do not have enough charging stations for EVs. Let's look at why this is a big problem. First, the number of EV users is growing very fast, but the number of chargers is still very small. Second, we missed our national target. The government's goal was to build 10,000 charging stations by 2025. But by March 2024, only 2,214 stations were actually ready. Because of this big gap, many Malaysians are still worried and hesitate to switch to electric cars. To make it clear, there are three major issues that EV drivers face every day. Number one is battery fear. Drivers always worry that their car battery will die before they can find a charger. This fear stops people from buying EVs. Number two is city only. Right now, most charging stations are only located in big cities like KL, Selangor, and Penang. If you go to rural areas, there is almost nothing. Number three is broken chargers. Even when drivers find a station, many chargers are broken because of poor maintenance. This makes users very unhappy and frustrated. In conclusion, if we want more people to use EVs, we need to fix this infrastructure deficit. We need more chargers, better maintenance, and we must open more stations outside of big cities. Now let's look at why this is happening. What are the causes of this issue? There are four main reasons. First, we have high development costs. Fast chargers are very expensive to build. Because of the high cost, private companies do not want to build them quickly across the country. Second, there is a private sector reliance. The government does not fund these chargers, so private companies only focus on big cities where they can make more profit. But the project faces slow approvals. Getting permission takes a long time because there are too many agencies and too much paperwork. This slows down the whole project. Lastly, we have a market dilemma. which is like a chicken and egg situation. Investors do not want to build more chargers because the number of EV users is still low. At the same time, people do not want to buy EVs because there are not enough chargers.
I will briefly present the stakeholders' analysis of EV charging infrastructure in Malaysia. First, government agencies. The first stakeholders is the Ministry of Transport, MOT, plans the location of EV charging stations. However, slow land approvals and weak coordination between agencies have delayed the installation of new charging stations, especially in rural areas and highways. Next is the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, MITI, encourage private companies to invest in EV charging infrastructure. However, Malaysia still depends on import technology and lacks local expertise, which slow down the expansion of charging stations. Lastly, Suruhanjaya Tenaga, ST, ensure a safe electricity supply. However, the growing number of fast chargers puts pressure on the electricity grid, making expansion more difficult. Next, transport operators and EV industry like Kentari and Charge EV install and operate charging stations. However, high cost and low return on investment have slowed the development of EV charging infrastructure. Tenaga Nasional Berhad (TNB) supplies electricity and grid connections. However, limited grid capacity and expensive upgrades also slow the installation of new charging stations. Finally, consumers are the main users of EV charging infrastructure and need enough charging stations for convenient daily travel. However, the number of charging stations in Malaysia is still too low. Many consumers worry about not finding a nearby charging stations, which causes range anxiety. In busy areas, they may also experience long waiting times because there are not enough chargers available.
Thank you, Siti Norain. Now, I will explain the three main impacts of improving EV charging infrastructure, which are the environmental impact, economic impact, and social impact. So first is the environmental impact. Improving EV charging infrastructure help reduce carbon emission because more people are encouraged to switch from petrol and diesel vehicles to electric vehicles. As a result, EVs produce fewer harmful pollutants, leading to better air quality and healthier environment for everyone. Next is the economic impact. Expanding EV charging infrastructure creates more job opportunities, especially for engineers, technicians, and maintenance workers. It also attracts both local and foreign investment while supporting the growth of related industries such as renewable energy, construction, and automotive services. Finally, the social impact having more charging stations reduce range anxiety and increase public confidence in using electric vehicles. It also makes traveling more convenient and contributes to a cleaner, quieter, and more comfortable environment, which improves the overall quality of life. Now, I will pass to my team members, Rauda.
Thank you, Hidayah. Now, I'm going to talk about challenges of EV charging infrastructure. The first challenge involves Tenaga Nasional Berhad or TNB. As more high-power DC fast chargers are installed, electricity demand increases significantly, especially in rural and undeserved areas. This puts additional pressure on substation and local distribution networks. Therefore, TNB needs to modernize the national grid and strengthen its infrastructure to ensure a stable and reliable electricity supply while supporting the expansion of EV charging stations. The second challenge mainly affects residents living in high-rise buildings. Before installing a private EV charger, residents must obtain approval from the Joint Management Body or Management Corporation. However, many applications are rejected because they have limited electrical capacity. Improper charger installation may also overload the building power system. In addition, fire safety concerns in enclosed basement parking areas make management committees more cautious about approving EV chargers. The final challenge is cybersecurity. Modern charging stations are connected through smart charging management systems, making them vulnerable to cyber attacks. Examples include malware and false data injection attacks, which can steal users' banking information and manipulate charging operation. These attacks should also disrupt electricity distribution, making cybersecurity an important priority for charge point operators and cybersecurity in Malaysia. Now, let's move on to the future opportunity of EV charging infrastructure. Despite these challenges, several technological opportunities can further enhance Malaysia's EV ecosystem. The first opportunity is vehicle-to-grid or V2G technology. Vehicle-to-grid technology allows EVs to both receive and return electricity to the grid. With AI and deep neural networks, charging can be controlled based on electricity demand. This reduces peak loads, improves grid flexibility, and supports Malaysia's transition towards renewable energy. Another opportunity is using retired EV battery as battery energy storage system or BESS. This battery can still store electricity and be installed in buildings to store excess solar energy. This reduces pressure on substation, lower electronic waste, and supports Malaysia's circular economy initiative. Lastly, blockchain technology allows EV users and solar owners to trade electricity directly without relying on central utility company. Smart contracts make transitions secure, transparent, and automated. This reduces energy costs while improving the efficiency and resilience of Malaysia's future energy system. This opportunity supports both energy sustainability and economic priorities. Lastly, what kind of solution we can do to address these challenges and opportunities? All stakeholders must work together. The government, the NB, and the Energy Commission should modernize the national grid, implement AI-based smart charging, and expand vehicle-to-grid technology. Meanwhile, the government and GMB should standardize approval procedures and strengthen the fire safety regulation for EV charging installation while promoting circular battery storage system. Finally, charge points operators should collaborate with cybersecurity with Malaysia to strengthen cybersecurity through encryption, regular security assessment, and blockchain-based peer-to-peer energy trading. Together, those initiatives will create a safer, more efficient, and sustainability EV charging ecosystem in Malaysia.
iPhone ku ada